Hey everyone, today I am at Carlaverick Nature Reserve. As maybe you can hear and possibly see behind me, there are thousands of barnacle geese here. Almost the entire population of Svalbard's barnacle geese are here, ranging from 30 to 40,000 birds. So it's an amazing sight, and that's what I want to photograph in this episode. Every day these barnacle geese come into land here, and they come into these farm fields to feed. So what we want to do is we want to find one of these farm fields and put up a hide. And I'm just going to drive a little bit around the area and see if I can find anything that looks like it's going to be a good place to put up a hide. Alright, so I just pulled up here, this lay-by, and I don't know if you can see in this field, it's filled with barnacle geese. Now, if you don't have a hide and stuff, you can use your car as a hide, but they're a little bit spooked that I just pulled up here. Sitting shooting in the car here, I'm also seeing that, it's not giving me that perspective. I'm looking down at them, I'm not managing to blur my background very well, I need to get low to the ground, so putting a hide up in a field and being able to just lie down and get that low angle field, and then also being in the midst of it all. From the car you're very limited to where you could actually take pictures from. Alright, so I'm not just going to grab the first farm field I see. I'm going to scout around and see what has the best potential. So looking through these fields, what I'm looking for from these fields is that I'd like a field that's big enough so that my background is far enough away so it'll be easy for me to blur out the background. Also, we don't want to pick any fields that have cattle in it or horses or anything like that, so preferably just an empty field. There's definitely enough fields to choose from here. They seem to be using a lot of these fields, some maybe more than others. Some of the bigger fields has thousands of geese in them alone. A few of them here, some smaller flocks, and they're constantly moving about. So it's almost like I can't go wrong whichever field I want to pick. I'm going to look a little bit more around though. I'd rather have it a little bit more secluded than the ones here, because this is the main road to and from the reserve. So all these farm fields here, people will go past them all the time, so I'd rather not have a hide just, poking up right next to the road or something like that. So after driving around and scouting the area for a bit, I found this farm field here, and it's completely, it's almost waterlogged. It's got water, if you can see in the back here, it's covered in water, and it's a great looking field. I've just seen loads of barnacle geese in there. I think this is going to be the ideal spot. So I'm going to head over to the farm here and explain who I am and ask if I can put a hide up in their field if they're not, if they don't have cattle or anything like that in there. Sorry, I didn't want to stick the camera in the farmer's face. So great news, the farmer was totally cool with putting the hide up in the field. It's completely waterlogged, so they don't use it. There's not going to be any cattle or anything like that to worry about. So what's also great about this field there being waterlogged is that it'll create some extra interest for taking photos, and also encourage some behaviors from the birds like breeding and bathing, things like that. So it can create a lot of extra opportunities for some good photos with that water in the field. Unfortunately though, the geese are back in the field along with some waders, so I'm not going to put up the hide right now because I don't want to disturb them. I want to keep the disturbance to a minimum, so I'm going to head back for lunch and then come back later with my hide and put it up in the field. Alright, so we're back where I'm going to put the hide up. This field is really wet. I'm hoping it's going to be a bit drier on the other side. It is really, really muddy here. It is really wet. As you can see, I'm probably going to be using this bottom one quite a bit. Morning guys, it is about an hour and a half until sunrise and we are heading to the hide. So hopefully there won't be too many birds in the field now, hopefully it might be none, and we can sneak into the hide without getting noticed. I got everything with me. I got a blow up mattress to lie on, I got a sleeping bag. It's such a muddy field, so I'm just going to walk out there with wellies, put my wellies in a plastic bag and then just step into the hide and into a sleeping bag. So let's see how this goes. It's finally starting to get a bit lighter, so I can take a few pictures. There's probably, as you can hear, there's hundreds of barnacle geese all around me. There's nothing really close to the focal range that I have. Although I've had some red shank come very close, so I have to practice a bit on them. But the sun has still not come up, so the light isn't great. This is fantastic. I'm in the middle of everything. It's just a crazy experience. It's really cool. I've been in the hide for almost 2 hours now, and I've had a few barnacle geese in the little water right in front of me, quite close. I got a few good pictures from them. I also had a couple of red shanks up really close, but that was so early that I was shooting with really high ISO, and it was still very dark, so not ideal. It's just calmed down a little bit now. I see a couple of big flocks just take off, and sometimes they'll do that, you know, because this is a farm field. There's paths nearby, so every now and then some people will walk around, or maybe a bird of prey will come, and they'll just take off and they'll spook. So, just to show you guys what I have here. So this is the V5 hide from Tragopan. So it's a tent, a dome tent. But it also has the extension on it, which you can see behind me here, and that makes it quite easy to lie down and shoot at a really low angle, like what I'm doing here now. So it gives me a really nice perspective when the birds come close, and I can blur out the foreground, and if the birds come close enough, I can blur out the background as well. I got a roll up this blow up mattress, very thin one, just kind of a cheap thing you get from a camping shop. I'm lying on that, and I got a sleeping bag. For my setup here, I got a bean bag here at the bottom. I got some camel layers just to support it a bit higher, and my girlfriend gave me her scarf as well, so I'm using that as a bit of support. I also quite like these little windows up here, if you can see them here. So that's like a little flap and a net you can pull up. There's also this handy little device up there that I can tuck it into. That way I could have it open. So I want to look outside. Very happy with the ground sheet layer because I've been lying in mud and water and absolutely nothing has come through that ground sheet. So this is the fourth morning that I'm out here. I had a break for a day. I had loads of geese come almost right up to the hide this morning. Just absolutely a brilliant morning. For the last hour or so, I've had, I don't know, must be thousands of geese in the field, but a good few hundred coming close to me as well. And having them close by in this little water puddle in front of me here for a while has given me more chance to kind of study their behavior. So today I noticed that they would preen in the water. They would go down, dip their head in the water, wash it over themselves, and then preen their feathers. And after they've been doing that for a while, they would always finish off with one of the ones where they tip on to the back and start flapping their wings. So it's nice to be able to see that, because then I can start to predict that behavior. And I can start to get my settings right, and I can wait for that. I know that that behavior of the flapping of the wings, it's coming after the preening, so yeah, I can be ready for it, and I can set my camera to high shutter burst, get the right shutter speed settings for what I want, whether I want to freeze the action of the wings or blur it. So those tiny little things of behavior there is just brilliant to pick up when you're lying here and just watching them and photographing them. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me throughout that whole video. All in all, I had the hide out in that field for 6 days, and I was there 5 mornings. And I would stay in the hide for anywhere between 4 to 6 hours when I was there. I would always make sure to enter when it was still dark, so I would be there at least an hour before sunrise, and there would be no birds there, or if there were only a few of them, and they wouldn't notice me come into the hide anyways. Other than that, I would also make sure that I always left the hide when there were no birds around the hide. They were either completely gone out of the field or on the opposite side of the field, so that I wouldn't disturb them coming out. And there's 2 reasons for that. Number 1 reason though is that I don't want to put additional pressures on these birds in cold winter months. They often struggle to survive anyway. Number 2, you also don't want to step out of the hide when there's birds around, because then they start to they get suspicious of the hide. When a person steps out and you flush them away, that might, they might not come that close to the hide next time. I had plenty of opportunities to leave the hide throughout the day because something else would always flush them away, or they would just move away naturally. Also, ask permission from the farmers, whoever owns the field, if you can put the hide up. It's best to have a good relationship with the people that own the land. If you want to see any more videos of me, my name is Espen, and I have a YouTube channel as well where I do a lot of wildlife photography, so please check that out. I'll put a link in the descriptions below. In a month's time, we'll be uploading another YouTube episode, and I will take another product from Tragopan out in the field to get close to some wildlife. If you have any questions or want to leave a comment, please just do so below, and I will see you in the next video.